In 1974, astronomers announced the existence of humanity to the universe from a giant radio telescope in Puerto Rico. 50 years later, they are making a new telegram. The story of us sending information into space, such as the existence of humans, the position of the Earth in the solar system, raises many concerns that human curiosity will lead us into a war with aliens. When you look up at the night sky to see the stars, you wonder what is happening in the deep universe, whether there is a planet that exists with life like ours, and, if so, what their civilization would be like. Nearly half a century ago, humans sent a message into space consisting of a string of zeros and ones. This code represents our species' first intentional transmission of information to the stars, like a long-distance phone call to an extraterrestrial audience. Astronomers used the giant radio telescope at the Arecibo Observatory in the hills of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, to send this message towards a vast star group called Messier 13, located 25,000 light-years away from our planet. The official signal was transmitted. On November 6, 1974, Arecibo's message to the deep universe was germinated in the brain of legendary astronomer Frank Drake. He is also known for the equation of the same name describing the probability of the existence of a form of life beyond Earth. It was the first message sent into space, and it was sent with the most powerful instrument of its time, says astrobiologist Abel Mendez of the University of Puerto Rico at Arecibo. For Mendez and others, the legacy of Arecibo's message resonates to this day, as they try to determine where the transmission is now while establishing new interstellar communications. The Arecibo machine takes over. In 1963, after 3 years of construction, the Arecibo Observatory finally opened. For decades, the radio telescope was the most sensitive in the world, built into a natural valley in Arecibo. The machine featured a giant dish with a 900-ton metal base, providing a striking contrast against the green mountains of Puerto Rico. In 1974, the installation of new equipment allowed the radio telescope to transmit signals with 20 times the combined power of all the power plants on Earth at the time. The purpose of the Arecibo machine's message was largely symbolic, celebrating the telescope's new ability to probe farther into space than ever before. Left cover. The original Arecibo message was in binary format and was colorless. From top to bottom and right to left, the message is made up of 7 parts. The numbers 1 to 10, magenta, the atomic numbers of phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen, white. The chemical formulas of the sugars and bases that make up DNA nucleotides, green. The number of nucleotides in a DNA molecule, white, and the double helix structure, light blue. The population of Earth in 1974, pink, as well as the average human height, dark blue, and the silhouette of a human, red. A map of the solar system showing the sun and planets, yellow, and finally the Arecibo telescope, orange with its dimensions, gray. Right cover. In 2018, a group of Puerto Rican students took on a new project, creating a message inspired by the original message, carrying information about our solar system and people on Earth. Like the original message, this one is also encoded in binary, and they proposed choosing Teegarten Star as the place to receive this new intergalactic signal, but the project has no plans to send it into deep space. The goal of the project was to announce the existence of humanity in the universe. Therefore, Drake used binary format, the most basic computer language, to transmit a series of information about Earth into the universe, such as our number system, the DNA double helix, the location of the human planet through a representation of the solar system, the human figure, and a diagram of the Arecibo telescope. The message was broadcast for 3 minutes at a frequency of 2,380 MHz and contained 1,679 bits of data arranged in a grid of 73 rows by 23 columns. A response from aliens? The chances of a response are slim, but the transmission still has a huge impact on astronomers. The project opened our minds to the possibilities of interstellar communication, Mendez testifies. This raises many questions. Could other life forms understand us? If we could detect the signal, would it be the same for other civilizations? After that memorable day in 1974 in the lush Arecibo Mountains, the cosmic broadcast was never transmitted again, and given the distance between us and the cluster, the answer could come within 50,000 years. Scientist Mendez explains that in order to communicate with other civilizations in the universe, we need to transmit messages multiple times to different regions of the deep universe. The goal of the Arecibo message was not to receive a response, but to demonstrate our ability to communicate with the universe, betting on the existence of an intelligent civilization that would have the equipment to intercept our calls. However, the prospect of contact with a life form formed on another planet forced astronomers to consider the consequences of such a special cultural exchange. The Arecibo message's target was Messier 13, a star cluster in the constellation Hercules, which is about 150 light-years in diameter, 25,000 light-years from Earth, and 12 billion years old. After the message was transmitted by the Arecibo Observatory, scientists expressed concerns about sending it into deep space without any consultation with the international community. If humans want to create a message and send it into space, we need to have an international consensus. Isaac Mann expressed his views. Other scientists warn that communicating with other galaxies and civilizations will expose humanity to many dangers if it comes from less than friendly aliens. Many sci-fi works that have been turned into film series have also wondered whether sending our location to extraterrestrial civilizations is like painting the target of a space battle on our beloved blue planet. In the series, the characters discuss the dark forest theory, comparing alien civilizations to prey hiding in a dangerous forest. These prey resist the urge to communicate with each other for fear of having hostile intergalactic neighbors. Since then, groups such as the SETI Institute have proposed international protocols for transmitting such messages. Intentionally reporting to other civilizations in the Milky Way, involving the entire Earth population, would have consequences. We need global scientific and political discussions before any transmission project is undertaken, a group of astronomers stated in 2015, the last message from Arecibo 50. Years after Arecibo's message was sent into space, our understanding of extraterrestrial life has evolved a lot. The first planet outside our solar system was discovered in 1992, and more than 5,000 exoplanets have been identified since. The universe is teeming with rocky planets that harbor water, and 29 of them are in the habitable zones around their stars, regions where liquid water and therefore life could exist. In a new era of the search for extraterrestrial life, Researchers at the Arecibo Observatory launched a competition in 2018 to write a new message. This time, a new generation of scientists took on the daunting task of summarizing humanity for an extraterrestrial audience. A team of students from the University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez won the contest by reproducing certain elements of the original message. The same binary number system and a similar diagram of the universe, albeit with a lot of new information. "The first message really inspired us," said team member Kelby Palencia Torres, a native of Toa Alta. To follow up on the first attempt at contact, the team also included a map that marked the Earth's position in the Milky Way and pointed out some of the cosmic objects of interest to our solar system, such as Saturn's rings and the Moon. The proposed message also included physical quantities such as Planck's constant, the speed of light, as well as basic mathematical operators, descriptions of DNA and amino acids, information that would be considered sensitive if it were in the hands of extraterrestrial predators. This time, the students kept their details to a minimum, including our average shape, height, and current world population. What are the capabilities of extraterrestrial civilizations? The destination, chosen by Liz Marie Mateo Rubert, Teagardens Star, an old, small star 12.5 light-years from our Sun, around which there are 2 potentially habitable planets. "It's relatively close compared to other systems," said the student from Ponce, Puerto Rico. "And if the aliens decipher the message and respond quickly, we could receive the information in 25 years. Unfortunately, Arecibo's final message is no longer relevant, and for the team that created it, it is simply a message that never leaves. Time and damage from Hurricane Maria, 2020, have caused the Arecibo Observatory to collapse, destroying any hope of transmission. The National Science Foundation, which funded the project, has deemed the site damaged beyond repair. The giant dish may never receive radio signals again, but it is preserved as a center for science education. Scientists around the world have expressed sadness at the loss of this giant astronomical machine. When the observatory collapsed, the pillar of science in Puerto Rico was gone," said Palencia Torres. "Of the remaining instruments on Earth, the Arecibo telescope is the only one capable of listening to the radio whispers of the most distant stars and emitting signals with enough force to reach the ends of the universe. Currently, NASA's massive international network of radio telescopes is the best choice for the Arecibo Last Message project. But scientists have no plans to transmit this message or any other signals in the future. For many scientists, the fact that the original message is still on its way to its target is a source of comfort, because it means that the legacy of the Arecibo Observatory will live on long after it has physically disappeared. We are always trying to communicate with otherworldly beings to answer the eternal question, are we really alone in the universe? Adds Palencia Torres. Based on the orbits of celestial bodies over time and the limited area of sky to which the message was sent, Mendez and his colleagues estimate that at least 4 stars will receive the signal in 500 years. The first region to receive the message will be Gaia DR3 13280579428958936, located 395 light-years away. In other words, it will take only 345 years for this message to reach our new cosmic neighbor, with the potential for life. Will we receive this response?